Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, along with head coach Scott Langer. Coach, how do you like my hat?
I'm not a fan.
Didn't figure so. Then again, I'm not much of a fan of your Yankees hat that you usually wear too, or sometimes wear. I think it's a little small. For somebody who waddles in self-loathing and as insecure as I am, you wouldn't think I'd have a big head, but apparently, here we are. Anyway, starting talking a little bit here, folks, about, of course, the weekend. Officially halfway through the season now, or the regular season anyway. A bit of a sluggish start on Friday night there, but a strong second and a third period resulted in a 5-2 win on Friday night. What did you think of the game on Friday, Coach?
Yeah, it's always interesting when you play your last games before the Christmas break. You don't know what you're going to get from your players. Obviously, they're super excited to get home. They've been here for a long time. They want to see their family, and obviously, I thought Brookings came out. Obviously they scored in the first 3 shots of the game, 2 out of the first 3 shots of the game, which put us on our heels. But I like the way our guys reacted in the second period.
Yeah.
Mac came out and buried that goal, which fired the bench up, and then obviously that play from Beatty to Bro on a line rush, which tied the game. And I thought our game from that point on was pretty good.
Yeah. Again, really dominance through the second and third. It really took the wind out of their sails. On Saturday night, a tight, scoreless first period that ended up being a 3-1 win with the empty netter from Cartman. A very good game for Henry Welsh in goal. Takeaways from Saturday.
Yeah, we if it wasn't for Henry Welch and the goaltending that we got, I mean, they had some real big grade A's against us where we fell asleep a little bit in our defensive zone and our posture wasn't real good. And Henry was big. I mean,
yeah.
he was fantastic, and he sure has proven himself to be a Division I candidate playing like that. But that's the kind of goaltending you need, and we got that goaltending last year. There was a lot of times that we were on the road, or even when we were at home, where we just needed our goaltender to keep us in it until we got our legs going. And Henry did that for us on Saturday, and until we scored that first one, where again kind of got us going in a game that our legs were not really there.
Yeah, and some huge saves at key times, as you mentioned. And he's 6 minutes away from a shutout. I think we've seen that a couple of times this year. But a great performance from Henry Welsh. Great to go on the road, and come away with a sweep, especially before the break, like we talked about, or like you mentioned. How much does a new building like that, going into the MAC and having never played there or been there before, and that low ceiling, the low glass, it's does it take a little bit of getting used to for the guys, or is it like one Barnes is the same as the next?
Well, I mean, it's every facility has its kind of own atmosphere, and the way the fans are behind the benches, you don't see anything across the way but you and the other broadcaster. It's an interesting feeling. I think it takes a little bit for the guys to get going playing in that atmosphere that they have there, but. It's road hockey. For us, it was about getting the points. It was about getting out of there and finishing the break on top of the division. And no matter how ugly it was at times, the points were there. And I don't critique wins very often. So I was just happy to get out of there with the points. For
sure, effective, and a great contingent of Wings fans that made the trip too. I know Saturday night a lot of the parents were there, but even Friday night it was great to see some of the traveling fans and stuff making their presence known with cowbells and so on. Some missing key pieces too, with DePaulo and Verdes both out, Max Tobin and Patrick Weyers both filling in some holes in the lineup. We talked briefly Friday before the game about them, but what do these two players bring to the table, or what did they bring, maybe I should say more accurately? And these are both AP players that likely we'll see next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both affiliate players that allowed us to bring them along in a time that we really needed players. And they're elite players at their level. And it's very difficult for an affiliate player to step in the lineup 30 games into the season in the North American Hockey League and be successal. And I thought both those players played well, especially on Saturday night once they got accustomed to the level and the speed and the pace of the game.
Yeah.
I think they both contributed and they were a contributing factor to getting those points on the weekend. So it's not easy, when you have players overseas playing in the World Juniors, and you have some injuries at this point in the season. You're trying to find people that can come in and take the place of the players that you have out, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
So other players have to step up, and I think you're seeing players like Jordan Randall and Clay Constantino. Players that are really stepping their game up in a time that we need them to do so. So, both those players definitely are candidates. Max Tobin is a tenured player, and our hopes that he'll be with us next year. He's a good player, and a lot of teams will probably want him. So we'll see how that works out. But both did a great job.
For sure, great to see them. All right, well, probably have a little bit of an abbreviated Wings Weekly this week since we don't have any players to talk to. But so we'll take a quick break right here, and we'll get back to what's coming up, what the break all entails, all kinds of stuff coming up right after this. Welcome back as we continue on with Wings Weekly. And just before the break, we talked a little bit about some of the missing pieces for the Wings over the last couple of weeks, or certainly this last weekend. One of them, as Coach mentioned, was Nathan Verdes, who's playing World Juniors for his native country, Hungary. And if you don't already know, he led his team to gold there for the U20 team, and had a heck of a run there, I guess.
Yeah, he's been a big piece of their national program. And when he left here, he was our leading goal scorer. Mm-hmm. So to see him go over there and win a gold medals are tough to come by in international play. And for him to be able to win that gold medal, and because of that, their team moves up a division next year. And for those countries, that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. Well, Coach, right now the Wings on top of the Central, as we talked about, after 30 games, 46 points. Bismarck in second with 38 points. Minot has got 35 points in third, then Austin with 33, Wilderness with 29, and St. Cloud Blizzard with 20 points at the bottom of the division. Some of these teams like Bismarck, I know, plays the 27th and 28th. They'll get caught up on some games. But a 7-game win streak right now, 13-game point streak. Is it fair to say that this team is where you want it to be as you go into this break?
Yeah, they've really come along as a team. Mm-hmm. They've found a way to take points in 24 out of 30 games played. 2 of those losses being all the way back in the showcase when we first started as a team. So I think this team's embraced the winning part of it. They've embraced hard work. They bought into our identity. Obviously, there's a lot of hockey to be played coming off the break, but it was a much needed. I think the break came at a perfect time where our guys were playing good hockey, but also needed the rest and to let their bodies heal up. So, but I think at this time of the year, going into break, I don't know if we can ask for much more from these guys.
Excellent. Well, speaking of the break, I was curious, what's expected of the players when they're off like this? And do you guys stay in contact with them? Do they have a schedule or a regimen that they're supposed to go through? What is that all? I mean, obviously every player has got time with their family and so on, but are there some things that you as a team and as coaching staff require of them?
Well, we do. We want to make sure that they're doing something with their body and they take care of their body. I mean, it's not we don't want them to necessarily jump on the ice and start training every day, but we do want them to get on the ice a couple times as we get closer to returning here to Aberdeen. But the main thing is to take care of their bodies and eat and drink the right way, and make sure you're taking some downtime, but also get back at the gym and keep your conditioning level up, because it doesn't take too long to lose conditioning in our game. So we expect that from them. We'll be in constant contact with those guys throughout Christmas, and but the big thing for me is be with your family, clear your head a little bit of Wings hockey. Enjoy what you accomplished in the first half, and get excited to come back.
Recharge the batteries a little bit, so to speak. All right. Well, usually in the second portion of this show, we have a player, and I ask them some stuff, and usually it's a little bit corny and stuff, and I don't get a chance to do that with you very often, so I'm going to put you on the spot now. Do you have any special traditions or anything that you as a family do that is Like wouldn't be Christmas without it.
Yeah, Tiffany does homemade pasta, and we end up sitting around doing nothing, eating pasta all day with the in-laws. But that's been a tradition at our house. We don't do a whole lot. We just spend some time together, and for me, it's this break is just time to kind of unwind a little bit and,
Sure.
and to enjoy seeing my family, because during the course of the season, it's very limited.
Without a doubt. Which is funny because I was going to ask what Christmas dinner looks like, is if it's different, being from the East Coast, New York guy, is it not ham, turkey, that kind of thing like is usually around here? And I was going to say that I kind of imagined that it would be pasta or pizza, and surely it is, in fact, pasta. Okay, what about, I think I asked you this once before, but I can't remember if for sure. So has there ever been a gift that maybe you got as a child that you look back and think, man, that was the best Christmas present. I was so stoked for that.
No, but there's one that I never got that still makes me mad today.
Oh boy.
Big wheels.
A big wheel. Like the kind you sit in
I
with
wanted the one like the the Jeeps that they have now.
Yeah.
That were motorized. I always wanted one of those.
That's
So
good.
I don't know if you call them the big wheel or what do you call them nowadays, but they had them back even when I was young, and I never got one. But I always get good gifts.
Christmas has never been the same ever since.
No. But I still, if I could get one, that would be good.
Adult sized, or maybe not. Okay. You guys have a tree?
Absolutely.
Real or fake?
It's fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you prefer a white Christmas or green Christmas?
Do I have a choice?
Well, not up here usually, but
I would rather a green Christmas with some sun and 90-degree weather.
white beach.
Perfect.
That's a different kind of white Christmas. How about favorite Christmas song? Is there one that sticks out that you're like, or you're like, I have to tolerate them. Maybe there's one I don't mind as much as the others.
I don't even know. I don't even know the answer to that. I think I like them all. When I was a kid, I don't know if I told you this, but I got written up when I was a kid because I wouldn't sing in music class. I'd only hum. So
Why does this not surprise me?
It's a true story, and that piece of paper is still somewhere where Mom could produce that.
I believe it, actually. All right. How about a favorite reindeer?
Rudolph.
Rudolph. Okay.
Absolutely.
Ever been kissed under the mistletoe?
No.
No, Tiff, gotta get on that. How about favorite movie? Like, you said you sit around eating pasta. Usually there's some movies involved, different stuff on TV. Like Home Alone, Grinch,
No.
It's a Wonderful Life.
No.
None of them?
I hate TV on that day. I feel there's nothing on. There's no real sport events. I'm just the sports guy on TV. And they play those marathons.
Yeah,
of,
back to back of A Christmas Story.
The Christmas Story. And it always seems to have to go on the TV, and I don't. This year I'm gonna just play with my dog. I got a new dog, Maisie May, Lazy Maisie,
Nice.
and a new part of our family. So we're excited to have that. So I think I'll just spend some time. They can watch the TV and watch all the same stuff that's
You
gonna
guys-
go rerun.
And you'll just be vibing with Maisie May.
I will.
All right, final question, Coach. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard does Tiffany try to get you in the Christmas music video?
Oh, she doesn't at all. It's a 0. She
just knows better.
She's given that up. Back in the Topeka, when she used to run the Topeka team, I was tried to push and pull and the whole 9 yards to get into that thing, and I finally put my foot down, and it wasn't going to happen. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. That's one thing she knows.
Okay. I kind of thought maybe she's pretty fiery. I figured maybe she'd still kind of give you some jabs once in a while. Well, there you go. Interesting. All right. Well, Coach, that's really about all I've got as far as questions, of course, from the St. Cloud series over there in St. Cloud. Got obviously a break coming back to action coming up January 3rd and 4th against the Minnesota Wilderness here at the ODI Center. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remaining reserve season tickets and corporate night sponsorships are still available. Call Aaron for that as well. The Aberdeen Wings organization would like to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And Coach, obviously the same goes for you and your family. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and enjoy the break.
Thank you, and also to Wings Nation. Have a great holiday.
All right, folks, that'll pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.